Wednesdays. Meaning moving on Wednesdays. So, since I was in Yuma, that little routine is being tweaked. Today is Sunday, so this landfill or this dump is open Sunday through Thursday. Very easy. I'd say that right now, living in the desert, I've got the thing down to a couple weeks on food and water and energy and all that other stuff, but I really have not found a practical solution to not coming to the dump every week. And I'm trying to work on that. It's funny how having to go to the dump once a week makes you think about your trash. So we just wait till it's a turn, and I'll talk to you soon. A campmate and I were just chatting yesterday, and the subject of Alaska came up. And they asked me, why do you want to go to Alaska? Like, what are the reasons? And I have quite a few. I don't think I've ever thought of them all in one place before. But then I mentioned seeing this man in Alaska on the public station. They had a fundraiser every now and then that he built this cabin from scratch in Alaska. And when I mentioned that, they went into their rig and they brought me this book. Look at it. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to read this in just a couple minutes, but oh, my interest is piqued. I thought Alaska was not on the table this year. And yet, do you ever, you're thinking about doing something, or you think you want to do something, but it just doesn't seem to be a good enough reason to go there? I think I found my reason. Look at these. Man, maybe I might take some of these to make little cutting implements, huh? I was looking everywhere today for a couple of throw rugs that I use to put in the front of the solar panel just in case it gets blown over, because the front of that is glass. And I was looking everywhere because, usually when I parked, I'll put it, stick them in the front door or maybe in the back door. I'm trying not to do that though. Sometimes on that place. And for a while, just vertical next to the drill case, it was there. So I was looking everywhere, and I looked in here for that and all that. So I'm getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden I realized the other day I redid the storage area, and I put some of my crafts up in the cargo area. And so now I have a dedicated space for those rugs. And there they are. That's the funny thing, is we're always organizing, but then we forget where we organize things. Welcome back, son. It's good to see the sun. It's been a rough couple of days, rainy, windy, and it really encouraged us to stay in the van. All the outside projects got put on hold, but that's okay because it gave me a really nice space to be able to concentrate and focus on a special Benny for my Patreon members. And it is an intuition check-in, because I believe that, going forward, just as as a humans, that developing our intuition, which is wired into us, we have just let it wither. It's there. And so this monthly intuition check-in is an invitation to practice tapping back into intuition. And what I use as a framework for this are oracle cards. And oracle cards are cards that open up the possibilities. Oracle cards, in my experience, draw me forward. And in that drawing forward, it doesn't mean forgetting what the past is, but it means that in that going forward, I am healing, so that when I think about or come across or come face to face with something from my past, I'm better able to be with it and heal it if possible. So intuition is a big thing. And I do these cards every month. Welcome new subscribers. I hope that you enjoy what you see here. I am an everyday artist, just using myself as just an experiment of trying to be the person that I am. And that's what I invite you to do as well. If you hang around a while and you would like to support me, I have a Patreon membership that you can join for as little as $5 a month. One of the big benefits, I believe, is this intuition check-in that I was just talking about every month for just $5 a month. You can get that, as well as ad-free. The stories that I put on YouTube have ads in them if you don't have the premium on, and as a Benny for all patrons that are over there, ad-free stories. And so that'll all be over there. And there's many different levels. You can make a custom pledge. And if you have any questions about it, just ask me, just email me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And so now, all these ingredients that you see here, did I just call them ingredients? I did. Because I feel like any project that we do can be paired to cooking or building a house or anything, just different ingredients. So the ingredients are these. Actually, let me tell you what the recipes are, I should say. All right, so first and foremost, the herb rack is a bust. I finally realized that aesthetically, I did not like it, and also space-wise, taking up space in the van. And the other thing is, if you watched a story or two beforehand, you saw that I just used one of my produce bags that I use, and put some kale in there, and it's drying perfectly. So I'm happy with that. Doesn't take up any space, and so a-okay on the drying rack. So that's off the counter. I mean, yeah, that's off the counter, because they were on my counter, taking up space. The next thing is that I think that I'd like to have a couple herbs growing here and there. I'm not going to try to recreate my garden at home, which wasn't much bigger than this. But so I'm going to spray this, because it's not really, it's sort of waterproof, but not really. But this is Flex Seal, so I'm going to spray that on here, and then I'm going to probably paint it doing something, and then that's going to be just a little planter box holder for herbs. And let's see, the next project and the hardest one is to finish up my wind generator, which, yes, I am still working on the wind generator, and I just keep coming at it until it's done. Put it down, then come back, and eventually it gets done, 15 minutes at a time. So here's my next 15 minutes, because we're not going to finish it today, but we are going to do a little prep. I had this. It's going to go up on the racks. I only had to buy these 3 washers because I have a whole bunch of all kinds of screws and nuts and bolts, and quite the collection. Here's what we've got. This sleeve, it's on there pretty solid, and it's vertical. It's, you know, it's straight up and down, okay? But it's just held just by this, and you know, it's strong now, but it's hand tightened or with a wrench. And there's the winds are nothing to mess around it with out here. So this is what I propose to do, is use this. It's very, very thick. I've had it, I use it for an awning, and I can still use it for an awning. So it's, you know, double duty now. But I'm going to put it up and attach it to that, attach it to that, and there, all the way across. This board just happened to be some kind of a scrap, but it exactly is the correct size to fit right down in. Isn't that great? And then I'm just going to run a stainless steel bolt through it. Here, I'm going to use this, finally, after 3 trips back from the cashier to get this, let's see, first it was, it needed to be purple. So I had to go back and forth to get purple. And then they needed to know what it was and how much. So I had to go back. And so Arnold's, I guess, had a little mercy on me. I really was trying to keep upbeat. Gave it to me for free, and you know, I just wished everybody well. But oh, I was getting tired. Well, that was like, boy, how many more stops do I have to make before the end of this day? I probably was in that Home Depot for, oh my goodness gracious, a couple hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah. All right, so back to the wood. Oh yeah. Back to the wood. I'm just gonna rip this down here because it is the exact, it's exactly what I need to go right in there. And so the reason why I had to get up here today and kind of look at all that and get the measurements is because I'm going to paint these things with that Flex Seal stuff, the same thing I'm going to do with my planter. And then I'm going to wrap it in that Flex Seal tape to really try to waterproof it as much as possible, and use stainless steel bolts, and hopefully that everything will not rot for a while. Here's my propeller, nice secure here on the roof. Generator is tucked in here, and all the paraphernalia that goes along with the wind generator is in that pink dry bag. So when this wind generator really kicks in, I'm just going to have to come up here. All the tools will be up here. Put it up in 5 seconds. Run the guy wires. Done and done. Bring on the